I still very much feel like a child, and I think I will always feel like a child. I mean, I'm 36 years old, but well, my body is 36 years old, but I think I will always feel like a child inside of me. I don't feel limited by this body at all. I love my body. I adore it. I worship it. But I am not my body. It is my temple, but it is not all that I am. I remember so many past lives, so many different cultures. Being a woman, being a man, you know, being so many different things, and that just broadens the perspective, basically. It really broadens the perspective when there's not only just one life, but there are so many lives, and actually I can actually remember it. Like this, for example. Okay, now you know I live in Berlin, and I remember it's called Island of Youth, this island. And I remember being here on a party in 1920, actually. Sounds crazy, but I was sitting on a bench over there. With a girl, and there was a party in that house. In the 1920s, 30s, something like that. And I went down to that bench again, and I sat there, and just my body, it just started crying. You know, I just started crying. And I just knew, you know. I just completely knew that I've been here before, and I've lived past lives here. So things like that just changes you. Yeah. There are so many past lives experiences I can talk about, actually. I remember being in India as a monk, in Tibet. I remember living in the northern part of Germany. I mean, but what I really remember most of is actually and this is probably just gonna sound really strange to most of you. But hey, I've come so far, so arrest me if you must, but I am what I am. I remember spending lives in the realm of the elves. Yeah. And the world of the elves is so beautiful, it's so sacred, and so they're quite close to humans energetically, but still they have such a strong angelic part in them, such an incredibly strong light and love in them. It's so nourishing, because one civilization that I have had a lot to deal with in my incarnation history is the Arcturus. You could basically say I come from Arcturus, the Arcturian star civilization. And how do I know that? Well, through dreams, through meeting them, talking with them endlessly, being on what you could call their spaceships, but they're not really spaceships at all. They're just places where they gathered of light. They don't need spaceships anymore. But of course I also have experiences with the Andromedan civilization. I've been on their ships many times in my etheric body. I would love to go there in my physical body when the time is right, but there are so many beings around me that I feel so nourished by and so loved by, you know. And of course there are those of the darker realms as well, but I don't think it's the time to talk about them right now. The energy of love is all that I'm living for. The consciousness of love. Love for me is not something, or it can be something that happens between two people, but I normally talk about the consciousness of love, you know? The consciousness of love and the consciousness of fear. Are you living in fear consciousness, or are you living in love consciousness? That has always been the question to me. And unfortunately, the way I see it, most people are living in the fear consciousness realm. Meaning that unconsciously or consciously, they do the choices out of fear. But of course not all, you know? Just the way our financial system is built up, it makes it really, really difficult to live your life in the consciousness of love, of sharing, of unity. And there are so many people that are doing their best, and we're all doing our best, and I love you all. But it's, for me, living in the consciousness of love has always been the highest goal, really. And what does it mean to live in the consciousness of love, of sharing? Well, it means to have love in your heart. I'm no Christian, but I guess Jesus said, have love in your heart, you know? Forgive, bless others and yourself with the love in your heart. And that is true. Out of all that I've experienced and all that I've realized, having love in your heart is what it all comes down to. If you have love in your heart, you can meet the biggest demons and they can't do anything with you, to you. And that is really fascinating. Yeah.